experienced loss in your life recently? This episode is for you. Hi, I'm Carly Myers, a stress management expert, and this month we're talking about how to cope with trauma and tragedy. And that's why I brought on this amazing guest, Justine. She's the founder of Girls Gone Happy, a company that helps women connect with their inner wisdom and with each other. She spent the last 12 years teaching, coaching, writing, consulting around work life balance, self employment, and creative careers, and how to make decisions rooted in your own values. With Girls Gone Happy, Justine brings these experiences into products that help women to have deep conversations around big life questions and build real friendships through these discussions. Justine has been recognized by Billy Penn, Leadership Philadelphia, and the City Council of Philadelphia as an entrepreneurial leader, and by the Philadelphia Citizen as Citizen of the Week for her work as a community organizer. Wow, I'm so excited to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Carly. I really am excited to chat, and I appreciate the chance to be here with you.
Absolutely. So I'm really curious, especially because we are talking deep stuff this week. How did you get into this line of work?
That is a great question. I before doing Girls Gone Happy, I had worked as a middle and high school teacher, and I then was coaching teachers, and then became a coach myself. And I worked with a lot of women in particular around career questions and career challenges, and there were just so many common themes of folks feeling disconnected from their values and feeling like they were kind of lonely and lost. And so I wanted to create a company that would help folks to have these conversations around these questions and around these things that we all struggle with. And I started out creating products that were more around, like, how do I deal with a fork in the road, or how do I make a big question more approachable? And as I started feeling my way forward with the content for our cards at Girls Gone Happy, I realized that a topic that a lot of us don't talk about enough is grief. And it's something that is so universal. All of us struggle with it in one way or another, yet at the same time, even though it's something that every single person goes through, when you are in the thick of it, nothing feels more unique to you and lonely, and kind of like you are in your own little world, disconnected from everyone else. So I felt like I wanted to really create a product and create a tool for folks who are in that situation. And again, that doesn't just have to be when somebody has passed. It could be when you've had any kind of big goodbye or big transition. Like, we have a lot of grief around losing a job or changing careers. We have a lot of grief when a friendship ends. We have grief when we move from a house. Even if it's something positive, it's hard to say goodbye. And it's hard when a chapter is ending, even if the thing in front of you is bright and shiny and exciting too. So that was part of how I got into the work. When I sat down to write the Lost deck, which is one of our products at Girls Gone Happy, I drew upon my own personal experiences. I had lost my parents, both of them, by the time I turned 24. My dad passed away when I was 16, and my mom when about a few weeks after my 24th birthday. So I was very familiar with loss and with grief, and they'd been sick for most of my life. So I sort of had a childhood that was in the shadow of illness. So it felt like very familiar to me. And at the same time, even though it was familiar to me, I didn't know what to say to friends and people that I loved when they were going through a loss and when they were in that kind of isolated state. And I thought, man, if anyone knows what to say, it should be me. And I still don't. So that was kind of when I sat down to write our Lost deck and move into that work. I just sort of thought, what do I wish someone had said to me when I was in that space? And what do I wish I had the insight, foresight, courage to say to people that I loved when I know that they're in that place too?
So your Lost deck, I just want to just clarify for the
Yeah.
listeners, this is a deck that's asking those tough questions, that's giving you prompts to really dig deep within yourself.
Yes, absolutely. So it has topics and it has questions, and you can combine them. You can just look at the topics or the questions for reflection. You can use them in a group for conversation. And it was really interesting writing it, especially with the topics, because again, when we think about the areas of our life that are affected by a trauma or a tragedy, um, you might think like family, friends, the direct relationship of who was impacted. But I started writing topics like freedom, like your sense of adventure, your plans for the future, your body, like all of tragedy and grief and trauma affect us on such a holistic level. And they affect us somatically, they affect us psychologically, they affect us interpersonally. It's not isolated, it just kind of leaks into every part of our life. So, yes, that was really interesting actually to think about. And when I see people using them in groups, it's always really powerful to see how folks have insights into all of these different crevices of their experiences that are impacted by a big loss that we don't always talk about.
Mm. Yeah, and I loved your comment about like freedom, right? Because and the comment about how loss can be many different things. Because
Hmm.
I know personally, you know, having a breakup happen is horrible, but at the same
Hmm.
time, have I, when I personally had to leave relationships, I also felt like a big weight was lifted off of me. Like, oh, thank
Totally.
goodness, but like I
Yes.
can't admit that, but
Yes.
all of those feelings for sure.
Yes, it's an and, it's not an either or, And I remember after my mom passed away, I was going for a walk with my cousin, and she was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, I know this sounds really awful, but like I feel relief and freedom in a way that I never have. Like, I had all of these life plans that I kind of had to defer because I wanted to be around my mom when she was sick, and so I didn't get to live abroad. I didn't move. I didn't take some chances and like daring choices that I'd wanted to in my early 20s because of my family situation. And I don't regret that in any way whatsoever, but it was really weird to be in like the deepest throes of sadness and grief and also to feel this strange excitement and like the vertigo of freedom that I had never felt before. And so I feel like it's important for us to talk about that. Nothing is just one thing, and it's okay if you're going through a loss, whether again it's a breakup or somebody passing or any kind of big transition, to feel, relief and freedom and excitement along with the sadness. I think there can often be guilt around that, but I also think it's really, really normal, especially if this is a situation that you've been living with for a long time.
Mm. Absolutely. I love that because I think we're not talking I don't think there's enough conversations happening around that right now about like oh, you're just supposed to be this, like but we're so many things. We're so like we experience so many things when we experience trauma, tragedy, loss.
Yes, 100%. And I think people are really squeamish talking about grief and loss. And I wish that we could have more open conversations around it. I think one of the things that I've learned from having more discussions with other folks is that there is no right way to grieve or go through a loss. There's like no universal timeline for healing. And if you feel raw for longer than you anticipated, it's okay. If you feel better faster than you anticipated, that's okay. There are like different seasons in our life for different things, and there are different seasons for healing and grieving. And there's no way to do it, And I wish that more of us would share that with each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of which, we want to know. We want to know what your experience was like with loss. Have you felt all of those different feelings? What has come up for you? Please share in the comments below and let us know so that we can start really creating a conversation around this. Now, Justine, I know you wanted to share an opportunity for our listeners, so I'm going to let you take that away.
Oh, thank you. Yes, so I had mentioned the Lost Deck, which is a tool that we have for folks who are either grieving, going through a big transition. We actually just used it at a Halloween circle last week, which was so neat. We used it in a group conversation just around letting go, which is really, really beautiful. So I would love to share with your listeners a 15% discount on that, as well as on our group kits, which are tools that you can use to just put together your own conversation with friends. It has all the plans that you need to be able to use the deck in a group setting without having to do really any work at all. And the code is stressless. So you can find that on our website.
Okay, and what is your website for us?
It's girlsgonehappy.org.
Girlsgonehappy.org. You heard her. So we hope you enjoyed this episode of the Stress Less Know. Let us know how we did by giving us a big old thumbs up and hitting that follow or subscribe button. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next week.